Before you start proofreading, you must be aware of the demands and expectations of your job as a proofreader. Remember that proofreading is the last phase of the writing process, in which you as the proofreader will be correcting surface level errors in grammar, in spelling, in punctuation, in formatting, in the documents in which you will be proofreading. But are you also aware that especially if you are a paid or a professional proofreader, it is beyond your jurisdiction to attempt to rewrite sentences in the manuscripts or documents in which you are proofreading? It is very, very important for you to have this information at hand before you start proofreading, because you might end up doing the wrong thing, thinking that you are doing right. Then you must choose the best time in which to proofread. And the best time for proofreading is a time when you are fresh, when you can focus intensely on the job at hand, so that you are able to produce better proofreading outcomes. This also means that you set aside adequate time for proofreading. You are aware that proofreading cannot be rushed. It takes time. It is a very slow process. But while it takes time, you must also be aware of the deadlines or the due dates that you are supposed to meet as a proofreader, so that you manage your time appropriately, so that you are able to meet those deadlines. To proofread effectively, you ought to do so in a conducive environment. And a conducive environment is an environment that is quiet, that is peaceful, that is comfortable and distraction-free, so that you are able to concentrate fully on the job at hand, so that you are able to catch the errors and correct them in the documents and manuscript or manuscripts that you will be proofreading. You must also know your most effective method or approach of proofreading. Are you someone who prefers proofreading digitally or electronically, or you prefer proofreading hard copies? Either way, you ought to prepare yourself and put all your proofreading tools within reach, so that you don't have to be moving up and down looking for stationery, for instance. When you want to use a ruler, then you have to get up and look for a ruler around. You end up getting distracted, so that you won't be able to do an effective job as a proofreader. Then you also need to develop your own checklist. And this checklist is actually a list of some of the errors that you have always been committing yourself in your writing. So you take them down, write them down, and then as you proofread, you are looking for these errors so that you are able to correct them easily in the document that you are proofreading. You also need to prepare yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Engage in physical exercises in preparation, because you're going to see that proofreading is going to demand a lot of energy from you. You need to be fit, you need to be strong physically. You also need to be stress-free. You cannot do an effective job as a proofreader when you are stressed. Then you must also be able to control your own emotions. You must also be able to curtail or bracket your own bias and judgment. when you are correcting documents. Then lastly, you must also be able to remember that individuals and businesses' reputations are at stake. Their credibility is in your hands. So you ought to be very careful. You ought to be meticulous when it comes to proofreading. Let me know what you think about this content in the comment section below. Otherwise, thank you very much. Enjoy your day.